Hello students, welcome everyone. Welcome to our today's session that is related to class 8 subject science, and today we will discuss the remaining part of our chapter, that is chapter 14, chemical effects of electric current. So in the previous class, in the previous video, we have discussed about electric current. What electric current is. So the flow of electrons in any material, it is termed as electric current. And we also know that there are two types of conductors for electricity, good conductors as well as bad conductors. So the materials which allows the current to pass through them are known as good conductors of electricity. For example, copper, aluminium, etc. And regarding poor conductors, the material which do not allow the current to pass through them, they are known as poor conductors. For example, glass, plastic, etc. And they are also known as insulators. Okay, now when we are having the good conductors and the bad conductors, we also have to find it out whether the given material, it is a conductor of electricity or not a conductor of electricity. For this, we have to test it using a tester. So in a tester, we can use bulb, we can use LEDs, and we can use the magnetic effect of electric current also to detect the current. But when we are using the bulb for checking the current, then it always needs the high temperature because the filament is there in the current in the bulb, and it always need high temperature to glow. If it did not get the high temperature, then it will not glow. So we are using LEDs in test tube. Why? Because LEDs, they can detect the weak currents also. Okay, same, we can use the magnetic effect of electric current also for checking whether it is a conductor of electricity or not, because that the deflection of magnetic needle, it also detect the weak current. Okay, then we have discussed about the liquid. Then most of the liquid conduct electricity. They are the solution of acid, bases and salt. If we will take tap water, then tap water which obtained from various sources like rivers, well, etc. It contains many impurities as well as different salt. So because of these different salt, it is a good conductor of electricity. But when we talk about distilled water, then distilled water, it is the purest form of water and it does not contain any impurities in it. So it is a poor conductor of electricity. Now today we will discuss about the chemical effect of electric current. So, topic for today is chemical effect of electric current. In the previous class also we have discussed about the magnetic effect, heating effect. Okay, so in this class we will discuss about the chemical effect. So what chemical effect is? Electric current, it can also lead to the production of chemical energy, or we can say the chemical reactions. Okay, so we know that when the electric current passes through a solution, what happens? It ionizes or it breaks down into ions. Why? This is because of the chemical reaction. Because chemical reaction take place when electric current passes through the solution. And it depends on the nature of the solution. Okay, and what the electrodes we are using there. Now a question arises, what electrode is? Okay, so what happens when we are having the electric current circuit, when we have to test it, or what we can do. First of all, what is the chemical effect? When the electric current passes through a conducting solution. Okay, means a conducting solution is there. And just see the diagram. the activity 14.6 given here. In this, what is there? Just see, water is there. Okay, in a beaker we have taken a water and two carbon rods. You are seeing two carbon rods, and at the top metal cap is there. Okay, and these two, they are connected with the circuit with the help of their batteries. So these are called as electrodes. These are called as electrodes. So electrode, it is a metallic rod or conductor through which electricity can enter or leaves. Okay, from which electricity can enter or leaves. It is known as electrodes. Okay, now see this experiment given to you here. What happens in this? In this we are having this type of connection, and what we are doing, we have taken lemon juice in it. Okay, and we have to watch those electrodes carefully. What we notice? We notice that near one of the electrodes, we notice gas bubbles there. Okay, what we notice? We notice gas bubbles there near the electrodes. So what we can see? We can see that some reaction is taking place there. Okay, so for this chemical reaction, the chemical effect of electric current. In 1800, a British chemist, what he has done, he immersed the electrodes in water and passes current through it. Then what happens? He observed the bubbles of oxygen and hydrogen. They were produced. Okay, the oxygen bubbles, they formed on the electrode connected to the positive terminal. This is the point to note it, that bubbles of both oxygen as well as hydrogen formed, but oxygen bubbles formed where the electrode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and to the next terminal the hydrogen bubbles are formed. So why it is like that? We always observe that the passage of electric current through a conducting solution, it causes chemical reaction. So the result is bubble of the gas, they may form on the electrodes, and deposit of metals may be seen on the electrodes. Maybe the deposit of the metals can be seen there, or the changes of color. The solution, the color of the solution, it may also change. And the reaction would depends on the solution and the electrodes are used. What the solution we are using and what the electrodes we are using there. The reaction depends on that only. Okay, one thing here given to you that once Bujo decided to test whether some fruit or vegetable they can conduct electricity or not. For this, what he had done, he had cut the potato in two halves and inserted the copper wires of a tester in it. What happens? His mother called him. He forgot to take out the wires. What happens after that? When he come back after 1.5 hour, half hour or 1 hour, what he noticed? He noticed that a greenish blue spot on the potato, where near the one wire, whereas near the second wire no spot is there. He was surprised. Then he repeat this activity many times, and what he found, that always the wire connected to the positive terminal, there is a spot around it. So what happens? The little experiment we are doing for the another thing, but this is the discovery. Okay, this is a discovery that with the help of it we can easily identify the positive terminal and the negative terminal. Okay, what we observe that if we have to find out the positive terminal, what we observe, that there may be a spot when the electricity may pass through it. We got a spot there, so we can easily identify which is the positive terminal and which one is the negative terminal of that circuit. Okay, so the chemical effect of electric current, with the help of it, the more good application of it is the electroplating. Okay, so first of all we will discuss what electroplating is. When you observe the things around you, for example, if you have buy a new brand bicycle, what you observe that it's the handlebar, it is shiny, its wheel rims, they are shining, and if we get some scratch there, what happens? The shiny coating, it comes off. Okay, and under it there is no shiny surface. So what we observe, we observe that some coating is there around it. Okay, and when we see that our ornaments we wear, some of the ornaments, it appears to us that it is made up of gold. Okay, but when we use it repeatedly, some wear and tear is there. So what we observe that after using it for some time, it may be of silver or it may be of some another metal. What we observe that there is a gold coating above it. So how this coating can be possible on one material of another material? Why, how we can get a layer of one metal around the another metal? So all these things can be because of the electroplating only. Okay, these things is because of the electroplating. Now see, one activity is given to us. For this activity, what we need copper sulfate, okay, then 2 copper plates and distilled water in a beaker, and in distilled water we dissolve 2 teaspoons of copper sulfate and dilute sulfuric acid to the copper sulfate solution so that it can become more conducting. Okay, now we should clean the copper plate with the help of the sandpaper, rinse them, dry them, and then we connect the copper plate to the terminal of the battery, and then we have to immerse it in the solution. We have to allow to pass the current about 15 minutes, and then we remove the electrodes from the solutions carefully. So what we observe after it, what happens to the electrodes? Okay, what happens to the electrodes connected to the positive terminal? What happens that is connected to the negative terminal? So what we observe, when the electric current is passed through the copper sulfate solution, the copper sulfate, it deassociates into copper and sulfate. Okay, 2 parts it divide, it ionize, and the free copper gets drawn to the electrodes connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Copper get drawn from the negative terminal of the battery and get deposited on it. But what about the loss of copper from the solution? The copper which lost from the solution. Okay, because the copper from the solution deposit to the terminal. So the other electrode, the copper plate, the equal amount of copper get dissolved in the solution. So loss of copper from the solution is restored, and this process continues. This means that the copper gets transferred from one electrode to the another. So from here we can get the definition of electroplating, that the process of depositing a layer of any desired metal on another material by the means of electricity. It is called as electroplating. It is one of the most common application of chemical effect of electric current. And this electroplating, it is very helpful process. It is widely used in the industries for coating metal object with the thin layer of different metals. Okay, whatever the desire to us, what we need. For example, chromium plating is done on many objects such as the car parts, bar tabs, kitchen gas burners. Okay, you can say bicycle handles, wheel rims, or chromium. Why chromium? Chromium, it has a shiny appearance. It will not corrode. It resists scratches also. and chromium is very expensive. We cannot use for making the whole object. Okay, so what we are doing, we are only making the material with the cheaper metal, and we are doing the coating of chromium over there. Okay, jewelry, it can also electroplate with the help of silver or gold. It can make with the less expensive material and the coating can be there. The ornament which is having the appearance of silver or gold, but they are less expensive. Why? Because the coating is there. Okay, the cans which are used for storing food, they are also electroplate. Why? Because it is less reactive than iron. The tin, it is less reactive than iron, and food, it does not come in contact with the iron and it protect from getting spoiled. Same, iron is used for the bridges, making the bridges, automobiles, and to provide the strength because it having the good strength. But iron corrode, so we are doing a coating of zinc over it. Okay, so it protect from the corrosion, it protect from the formation of the. So this all is the use of the electroplating. So what we discussed regarding the chemical effect of electric current, that when electric current passes through the solution, it ionizes and break down into ions. Why? This is because of the chemical reaction that take place when the electric current passes through the solution. And depending on the nature of the solution, the electrode used, the following effects can be taken. What the effects can be observed? That the metallic deposit on the electrodes, there is a change in the color of the solution, a gas can be released or the bubbles can be produced. Okay, and the most common application of the chemical effect of electric current is electroplating. It is the process in which the layer of the metal is deposited on the another material with the help of electricity. And this electroplating, it is used in many industries for depositing a layer of metal with the desired characteristics on the another metal, because the metal with that desired characteristics, that is quite expensive. And different metals used for electroplating, what are the different metals? They are the nickel, copper, gold, silver, tin, brass, zinc, chromium, platinum, many metals are there. Okay, so these all things are regarding what chemical effect of electric current is and what is the process of electroplating and where we are utilizing it in our day-to-day life. Okay, so these all things are related to our chapter, that is chapter 14. In the next video, we will come with our next chapter, new chapter. Okay, till then, just go through the video, go through the previous video also. For any query, just message me, comment me. Thank you. Take care.